Good evening everyone and welcome to our little 19th century dinner party. We're using this little device to travel back in time and meet some characters from our non-subscribing past and through their eyes to explore some ideas. So we're having this idea of a dinner party to bring people together. Our history buffins, any history buffins, please excuse me because I'm taking a slight liberty with the time here and bringing together some characters who, while their lives would have overlapped, didn't all actually live at the same time. And of course Ronnie and myself are travelling back in time too with all of you so that we can join with our dinner guests. And tonight's guest is Reverend Dr. William Bruce the Elder of First Church in Belfast. And I'm very pleased to have him for dinner because he's a very august character and I'm very honoured that he's coming to dinner, but I'm also slightly nervous to be entertaining him. And of course he's very interested in education. It was really great to hear him talking with Reverend Fletcher Blakely last week about education because Reverend Dr. Bruce is the principal of Belfast Academy and he's very highly regarded there, as well as being minister of First Church. But tonight we're going to talk up to him about theology because I love to read his sermons. He wrote some wonderful sermons a few years ago and they're so interesting, and for us they highlight some of the ideas of being a Unitarian. And you know, Mr. Bruce, he was using the word Unitarian. I think he might have been using it even before it was legal to talk about being a Unitarian. Imagine that. He was the first in our modern era to use this term. Of course, I'm a Unitarian, so I'm very, very proud of that. And in his sermons, he emphasises ideas that I really like. He talks about the mystery of God and how God is a mysterious being permeating every aspect of our lives and our universe. And he also talks about how we needn't be too afraid of some frightening doctrines, because he reminds us if we look to the pages of Scripture and read those pages for ourselves, we won't actually find those doctrines there. And so I think that that's very interesting. He reassures us that what we need to do is read the Bible for ourselves and think about it and make our own interpretations of it. And of course, we can be Calvinists, we can be subscribers, we can be really following any theological tradition within a Christian framework, so long as we read the Bible, allow one another to differ in our opinions and come to our own interpretations of Scripture. So I think that that's a really wonderful thing. But I am slightly nervous about bringing Dr. Blakely together with our other dinner guests because while he has these wonderful liberal ideas about theology, he is not as liberal as the rest. I'm terribly nervous that he's going to get into a row with Fletcher Blakely about something that happened a long time ago, several years ago now, when a man from England came over, a man called Smithers, to talk to people here and try to bring them more deeply into Unitarianism or to spread ideas of Unitarianism here. And he was very liberal in his thinking, and Dr. Bruce really didn't approve of this, but Fletcher Blakely did, and Fletcher Blakely even invited him to preach in Monterey, and this caused quite an uproar at the time. So I'm very nervous that they're going to be talking together, and particularly when the ladies go out. I hope I haven't left my husband Ronnie with a bit of a burden if these two people get into a dispute. But just as the ladies are about to withdraw for dinner, I see Reverend Dr. Bruce. He's much older than the others, of course. His carriage has come and he's going to go home, and so that's a relief. We wouldn't need to worry that he's going to argue with Fletcher Blakely, and we can leave the other much more liberal theological gentlemen to their port and cigars. And I hope Ronnie won't mind too much tuning into that discussion, because while he's very interested and loves coming to church, of course, he's not perhaps just quite as interested in these matters as I am. So that's us now. We'll wave goodbye to Reverend Dr. Bruce, wave goodbye to all of you, and I hope you'll join us again next week.